Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're just gonna have fun making some juice. I've already done a video that actually talked about my juicing attachment and did more of a review and a small demonstration of it then. But for the purposes of this video, we're just gonna have fun making some crazy concoctions. So before we get started though, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell so that way you can check out all the adventures here on Happy Humble Home. Okay, so the first concoction I made, really, well, this particular one I've never made. We just have some basic green grapes, some little mandarin oranges, and I actually don't know what these are called. They're not, it's like a cross between a plum and a peach, I think, or like a plum and an apple or something. They're soft like a plum. They have a pit like a peach. I don't really know what they are. They start with a P, that's all I know. So if y'all know what this is, actually let me know in the comments because I'm drawing a blank and I can't think what they're called. I got these at Kroger though, so that's where they was at. Okay guys, so I've got my oranges and then these, like I said, I don't know what they're technically called, but they're really, really pretty on the inside. They're just really pretty deep red color. It's kind of hard to see because of the light, but they're really pretty. You can take my word for it. And we're just gonna go ahead and juice these up, and I want to juice those first just so that way I can see the color and probably the taste by itself. So let's get to juicing. Parts about juicing is just watching all the different colors mix in. So this is green grapes, those plum looking fruit that I can't think of what they're called, and then several of the little mandarin oranges. And the amount that you seen on my cutting board, it made right at 16 ounces of juice. So let's go ahead and strain that. I'm going to go ahead and get out my mason jar. Actually, I'll need two of these out of the freezer, and keeping them in the freezer just helps to keep the juice from oxidizing as much since it comes from heat. And okay, so that one made up right at 2 of these. This one will actually go in the freezer. And between my sons and I, we've actually already polished off this one already. So it's a really good juice. To me, it kind of tasted like an apple, like a really sweet grape apple kind of, but my sons didn't get that taste at all. So either way, it was a really good juice. So it'll definitely be one that I'll make again if I have those plum type fruits. But now we're gonna move on to making one other juice. And it's one of my favorite. I call it green watermelon because it is watermelon and kale. And I like doing the green juices just because it gets extra vegetables. So let's go ahead and jump into that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off, and I'll put that little iCard up in the video for my other juice video that shows more how I clean this. But I'm gonna clean this off real quick and then get right into that other juice. So another thing when you chop kale, because like I've mentioned before in my other video, it does have a stem, like you'll juice all the stem and everything too. So if this particular one has a thicker stem on it, so I will make sure I cut this up really small, just so that way it's not super hard on my juicer, but just kind of chop it. This is 2 large leaves that I'm going to be using with my watermelon, and you just want to kind of get it in smaller pieces. If when you start putting in the juicer you see big pieces like this, just make sure and go ahead and chop it up a little bit easier so that way this little piece easier here so I'm not wasting any watermelon, I'm actually just gonna scoop this out with a spoon and then I'll chop it into smaller pieces. So that way I can still, oops, well, what's that piece? Juice it. And one thing about watermelon too, since it is so juicy, and like if you just use probably a whole watermelon, it makes close to the one I did that was about that size. I juiced the whole thing, and it made almost 2 quarts of just straight watermelon juice. And also, you can actually make some watermelon rind pickles and can them. And what that part is it's actually made out of just the white part right here. You'd cut off the green part and then take off the meat of the watermelon basically. So that is a way to use more of the watermelon without throwing away. I'm just not a big pickle person, and it's more of a dill pickle or sweet pickle. The recipe that I've seen, it's more of a sweet pickle, and I don't really like sweet pickles, so I haven't tried that. But that is an option if you don't want to waste just the rind, or yeah. All right, so we're gonna finish chopping this up. We're gonna go ahead and finish chopping up my watermelon, and then we're gonna juice one of my favorite dark green juices. Okay, so my camera died on me earlier today when I was trying to finish up that green juice, but here is my green juice. This is how much I made. Now, one thing, I believe the last time that I made this, my kale leaves were smaller than the ones I used today, and I think I used 2 of them last time and this time, but the ones today were bigger. And then also this watermelon that I used was not as sweet as the last watermelon, so I did end up doing another pretty big slice off of the watermelon just to give this a little bit more sweetness to it. So if you want to try this, keep that in mind, that you might want to go heavier. And if I had more room in my jar, I would actually probably add more watermelon to it. But next time I will definitely not put as, if I have that big of a kale piece and that mature of a kale leaf, it's a little bit more, it's a little stronger. But such a pretty color, so yeah. And then I also went ahead and made up some mandarin orange juice too, which I've never actually used any mandarins. I've added them, but here's some mandarin orange juice. This is actually from about 10 mandarins, 10 of the little small mandarins. It is not near as pulpy as the other, and it's clearly not as juicy, but it's a lot darker. It's more of an orange juice, like of a true orange color, whereas the other juice, if you use like navel oranges, it's more of a yellowish color, and you definitely get a lot more juice out of it and a lot more pulp. But that's pretty much it. Sorry I couldn't do my video with that other ones, but now it's time to just sip on some rosehip tea, and yeah, some rosehip and green tea.